if you are a Palestinian and a Muslim, then you inherit a worldview, a mindset. Listen to me, because I'm going to teach you. If you are a Muslim, you're already taught the Jews are evil. Listen to me, brethren. You need to put yourself in the shoes and the mindset of the people that you're witnessing to. This is 1 Corinthians 9:19-23. Paul says, to the Jew, I became a Jew. To the one with law, I became as one with the law. Those without law, I became as one without the law. What Paul was saying is, I entered their mindset. I tried to see it from their worldview. I put myself in their shoes to understand how they think in order to more effectively communicate the truth of the gospel. Now, you non-Palestinians and non-Muslims, you may not understand. When you are born a Muslim, listen, you are taught a particular worldview because of Muhammad, who's in hell. There are people who love this man, swear by this man, and think this man is the greatest creature that Allah created. Because they believe he's a prophet, it has been taught and ingrained and engraved in their DNA, in their mind. Whatever he says is the truth from Allah. His Allah is God. And he's taught them that the Jews are vile. Jews and Christians who do not believe in Muhammad are the worst of creatures. And we're going to talk about this. This is part of my session. And the end will not come until you fight and slaughter the Jews. This is what you've been taught. Secondly, you've been taught the whole world belongs to Allah and His Messenger. This is all in the authentic sources of Islam, specifically the Sunni sources, the Quran and the Ahadith, like Bukhari, Muslim. The Shia have their own traditions, but their traditions are similar. Please learn their mindset. So you've been taught the whole world belongs to Allah and His Messenger. You've been taught as a Muslim, all the prophets were Muslims. David, Dawood was Muslim. Solomon, Suleiman was Muslim. Their religion was Islam. Jerusalem, Quds, is the land of Muslims. So when the Jews say, this is our land given to us by God, they laugh at that. What do you mean, your land? It belongs to Allah, and it belongs to His prophets and messengers, and it belongs to His righteous servants. And who are His righteous servants? They are all Muslims. Are you listening? So when the Palestinians are living there, and the Jews come and want to reclaim their land because of Old Testament prophecy that says the land belonged to them, the Muslims said, what, are you delusional? The land wasn't given to you. It was given to the righteous servants of Allah. And who are the righteous servants of Allah? Muslims. Because Dawood, David, was a Muslim. Suleiman, Solomon was a Muslim. Those who feared Allah, had taqwa, they were God conscious, they were Muslims. They were not you. You're not Muslims. You're not pious. In fact, many of you are atheists. The land cannot be yours. So you are invaders and occupiers. You understand their mindset? So the one to blame is Muhammad. The one to hate is Muhammad. If there was no Muhammad, you wouldn't have Hamas. You wouldn't have Hezbollah. You wouldn't have Boko Haram. You wouldn't have ISIS. You would not have Al-Qaeda. It's Muhammad. He turned them into murderers, into rapists, into bloodthirsty terrorists. Muhammad did it. Are you aware there are Palestinians who hate Hamas, but they can't say something because they'll be murdered? Hamas is from the pit of hell, and you can blame Muhammad. Hamas is deliberately setting their bases in schools and hospitals and buildings where there are innocent civilians because they don't give a damn about the lives of the civilians. They're going to use the civilians, right, as human shields so that when Israel drops bombs, they can then use that to sell that to the Muslim world. Look, they're killing civilians. We're not stupid. We know what's going on. I'm not stupid. They don't care. Hamas does not care about Muslims. You know why? Can I tell you why they don't care? Because they love death more than you love life. That's their slogan. We love death more than you love life. Do you know why? Are you listening? You want to learn? Because when innocents are killed, it's jihad. For them, it's win-win. You see, you don't understand the Muslim mindset. You don't understand the Muslim mindset. When a child is killed in their mind, he will be ushered into Jannah. He dies as a martyr. She dies as a martyr. When older non-combatants are killed, they die as martyrs. And they will have the highest level with Allah. And then they can intercede for other family members. So for the terrorists, it's win-win. If you drop a bomb and you kill the children, they go to Jannah. They're martyrs. On older people, they go to Jannah. They're martyrs. Allah will exalt them. They are shaheed, martyrs for the cause. And then they can intercede for loved ones. So they win. You understand? And then on top of that, we can then use that to show the world what kind of barbarians, butchers the Jews are, that they're butchering our children and older people in order to get the sympathy of the Muslim nations to come and join them in this jihad. And they're hoping Iran jumps in. And if Iran jumps in, that's it, guys. There's World War III. Are you understanding the mindset? So let me make one more point. Please focus. Don't be deceived. Don't be naive. Even if Israel does all it can for a peaceful resolution, the very nature of Islam will make it impossible for any Muslims to allow Jews and Christians to dominate and control any piece of real estate. See, this is the problem. That if the Jews were to settle for a two-state solution, the problems would end. No, listen to me. Please listen to my heart. I'm trying to be as honest as I can. As long as you have people who believe in Muhammad and his teachings, no one can ever peacefully coexist with the Muslims who take the teachings of Muhammad seriously, because Muhammad said his religion will dominate, his religion will prevail, and Muslims who fear Allah will be victorious, and the earth belongs to the Muslims. So there's no way a Jew can be superior to us Muslims. There's no way this land can belong to a Jew who's not a Muslim. It's all ours. We just have to wait for the manpower, military prowess, and we're going to subjugate them, and we're going to take over the world. I'm not stupid. I know this. You understand? However, there are those Muslims who don't know much about religion, and they're sick of living in bloodshed and murder and fear. Those Muslims, you know how you're going to win them? See, they expect you to do what you're doing. They expect you to come and then just devastate Gaza, right? Blow it to smithereens. They're expecting that, and then you justify their hatred. You know what would have been shocking? Let me tell you where it's going to be shocking. Doing what Jesus said. All right, you took innocent civilians and you murdered them. Instead of now repaying eye for an eye, we're going to turn the other cheek. We're now going to come to the table. We're going to look for a peaceful resolution. You want it to two-state deal? I mean, again, I'm not into politics. I'm just saying, let's do it. And then if you do that, and then if the terrorists still start killing Jews, now you're justified in saying, you see, these terrorists are animals. They took our civilians and they murdered them. And we turned the other cheek. We forgave them, implementing Jesus's command. And we even sought a peaceful resolution, because there were Israeli prime ministers who were pushing for a two-state deal, whatever that is, I don't know. We gave it to them, and now look, they're still bombing us and murdering our non-combatants. You get the point? If you turn the other cheek and forgive, and then you go and try to bring a peaceful resolution, those Muslims who are sick of violence and fear, there are many of them. They'll be shocked. They'll be moved, and you'll conquer them with love instead of hate. You understand? Because when you devastate an area and you just wipe it out and you do what you do, and then Palestinians see children dead, grandparents dead, spouses dead, you only make them hate you more and despise you more, and you only justify and solidify their faith in Muhammad. You get my point? Until then, there'll be no peace. And if they do that, then you'll see the Muslims showing their true colors. the Muslims will show their true colors, because I'm letting you know. Here, I'm not stupid. I'm letting you know. Even if Israel does that, the terrorists will still kill. The terrorists will still bomb. The terrorists will still want to wipe out Israel. I'm not stupid. I'm not saying it's going to work. But at least you demonstrate you're not the one looking to annihilate, obliterate, decimate Muslims, Palestinians, and you're not the one who wants to erase Palestine from the map. You have no choice, because these Muslims, because of Muhammad, will not allow you to coexist. You get my point? But anyway, this is wishful thinking, because the only solution is Jesus returns physically, bodily to the earth. The only resolution is Jesus return physically, bodily to the earth. Okay? That's it. This is what I call wishful thinking. This is hopeful thinking. It ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. As long as Islam exists and Muhammad's teachings exist, it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. And it's not going to happen. I know. But, you know, we can all hope, right? We can all dream, right? The solution is Jesus returns physically, bodily to judge the living and the dead. And I pray we are ready for his return, and that we are his and will be glorified in union with him.